Now in Business Live, our top story today. President Trump meets major US retailers and assures them they'll love his tax plans. But they tell him, don't tax imports. Facebook is back in hot water today as the data privacy scandal plaguing the company has deepened. The social media giant has now revealed that up to 87 million people, a big jump from the original 50 million, might have had their data improperly shared with the political consultancy Cambridge Analytica. Damaging scandals can wreak untold damage on brands via social media, leaving sponsorship deals vulnerable. So how do you protect these in the social media age? Well, joining me now is Jim Dowling, who's Managing Director at the sponsorship and branding agency Havas Sports and Entertainment. Hello there, Jim. Thanks so much for coming in.
Nice to be here, thank you.
So when there are literally millions of tweets, pictures, posts every moment, how can you keep a handle on your sponsorship deal?
Well, that's the opportunity, is it not?
Good morning, America. Good evening, Asia. Hello, world. The Zimbabwean military has taken control of the country with armoured vehicles patrolling the streets of Harare. The country's president, 93-year-old Robert Mugabe, is said to be under house arrest. There are reports that the country's finance minister, Ignatius Chombo, has also been detained. The economy grew by just 0.7% last year, but years of mismanagement mean it's thought to be around half the size it was in the year 2000. And while there's little reliable data on Zimbabwe's economy, unemployment is rife and could be as high as 95%. And that's fueled political unrest. No decisive progress. That was the unfortunate outcome of the third round of Brexit talks that have been taking place in Brussels this week. The EU's top negotiator, Michel Barnier, warned today that the UK is placing impossible demands on the single market. Britain's counterpart, David Davis, however, said the talks were a stepping stone to the future negotiations. Well, the British pound really has been under pressure against the euro all week, hitting an 8-year low yesterday. Analysts are discussing the prospect of sterling even hitting parity with the euro soon. Is it possible? Well, here to discuss this is Jeremy Stretch, who's head of G10 FX strategy at CIBC Capital Markets. Hello there, Jeremy.
Hello.
So what do you think? Are we going to see parity soon? Will it depend on how future rounds of negotiations go?
Well, certainly there is some discussion about getting towards parity, and clearly now that we've moved decisively beyond 90 pence, then we're in the sort of trajectory of that parity threshold.
Beijing says it's prepared to do what it takes to protect the country's interests, following the latest proposals from Washington. The US has added more fuel to the spat, threatening a further $100 billion in tariffs against China. These would be in addition to the $50 billion worth of US tariffs already proposed on hundreds of Chinese imports. Earlier, Washington set out around 1,300 Chinese products it intended to hit, with tariffs set at 25%.
Susannah, tell us what the figures are and what Facebook's saying about it.
Well, first of all, let's think about whether this is tax avoidance or tax evasion. It's definitely tax avoidance. Tax avoidance is using legal means to pay the lowest amount of tax possible. Tax evasion is going out of your way to deliberately not pay the tax due. Now, this isn't to stop, of course, multinational companies using their global status to play national rules, really, and find loopholes. And, of course, there's a whole industry that's really geared up to deal with this, the corporate tax and accounting industry, to help companies do just that. It's time now to take a look at what's trending online in the business world, and a story about Bitcoin is gaining traction. Business Insider is covering the story after it surged past $8,000, reaching an all-time high. The cryptocurrency, known for its volatility, has added $41 billion to its total valuation in just 6 days. The Wall Street Journal has a report that tech website Mashable has agreed to sell itself for just $50 million. That's a fraction of what it was valued at just under 2 years ago. So is this a weak sign for digital media? On Wall Street, the Dow has opened higher, boosted by consumer discretionary stocks, while investors try to assess the impact of Tropical Storm Harvey on the US economy. Let's take a look at the tech-heavy Nasdaq. That's up on opening. The S&P 500 as well, also in positive territory. And this is the price of a barrel of light crude oil at the moment. That's down 1.11%, so in effect perhaps from Storm Harvey. Coming up after the break, Yalda will be back with Impact. And don't forget, you can get in touch with me And some of the team on Twitter, I'm at BBC Streeter. From all of us here, thanks for watching.